add minecarts, up to 3 more minecarts. But if I remove one, oh, I can add a New York City subway R179. Okay, you get the idea. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Code with me. In this series, I'm going to be coding for the 4.0 release and showing you some new features that you can be excited for. To start off, I've implemented the rail connector functionality, and you can see that it works kind of the same as before. So I have these cable car nodes. I can use the cable car connector to connect them. I can put platforms and sidings here, just like normal. And I'm clicking with a normal rail connector. It doesn't do anything on these cable car nodes. Same as before. And I can use these on rail nodes. I can use the rail remover, put one-way tracks. Everything works pretty much the same. And let me put a platform here. And it shows up on the dashboard as well. And the platform screen has also been implemented. The text boxes have been fixed. Before, the placeholder text was kind of weird, and then the slider rendering used to be weird, but now that's been fixed as well. So if I go back to the siding, all my changes are here. The other thing that I didn't fix is the text rendering on the dashboard, but that's not too important right now. The important update that I really want to show you has to do with the sidings. So let me go over here where there's a bit more space. I don't know why I'm getting these lag spikes. I even restarted my computer recently, so I don't know what's going on. Okay, so I'm here. There's a bit more space over here. So I'm gonna put down a rail node. I'm gonna create a siding. And I'm gonna make that go up here. Actually, maybe I'll just make it go flat. Doesn't have to be an elevated curve. Just like that. Alright, and then in my dashboard, go to my depots. Yeah, my siding is right here. I click on it. Everything looks the same. Oh, except that I need to make this not show up when drivable vehicle is not checked. So right now, if it's not drivable, it's not supposed to show this stuff. I did get a suggestion from a Patreon subscriber, that sidings can have their own speed limit. So you can limit the speed of a specific type of train if you want. So like if you have high-speed trains running on the same tracks as your normal metro trains, you don't want them all to go 300, then each siding can have a maximum speed limit. I thought that was a pretty good idea. So maybe I'll implement that in the future. So this slider is supposed to be for manual trains only, to set the max manual speed for the train. But if this was a global setting for the max speed the train can go in general, that would be useful in some situations. But we'll revisit that in the future. For now, I'm going to show you this vehicle selection menu. So this button is blank right now. In the old version, the button defaults to the longest train that can fit on here. For example, well, it goes down the list of available trains, and the default is usually the SP1900, or if your siding's too short, it'll default to minecart. But right now it's blank, so when I click on it, the menu looks different. I have updated the menu, and when you hover it, you can see it pulls up the Wikipedia article, just like before. And when I add a train, for example, let's start with an SP1900 Mini. So it goes here to the selected menu. And then let's say I wanted to combine it with an MLR small. I can do that. And now you see some of them are grayed out now. Like I can't add the small one to here anymore. So if you haven't figured out what's going on already, this is the option to add custom cars to your train set. That is very exciting. So like I added a Tunma Line small or mini train, and now seems like I can't add most of these trains anymore, even minecart. So my siding has maxed out in length. It can only fit these trains. Okay, let me clear this and do it again. So let me try adding, I don't know, K train small. And there's also this button, duplicate cars. What this button does is it will duplicate whatever you have in your selected menu and fill as many as you want until it hits the siding length. So let's click this. Seems like our siding can only fit 2 K-Train small cars. Let's try it with a mini. And duplicate, we can fit 4 mini trains on our siding. And you see everything's grayed out except minecart, I guess. You can add minecarts. Up to 3 more minecarts. But if I remove one, oh, I can add a New York City subway R179. Okay, you get the idea. Basically, whatever combination of train cars you want on your siding, you can do that here. Okay, let's try D78 Mini and R179 Mini. So let's say I want a train with alternating cars of D78 and R179 trains. So I've added this to the menu here. I click duplicate cars, and it looks like I can only fit 4 on the siding here. Yeah, so duplicate cars basically fills as many of the selected trains as you can with the siding that you have. So like minecart, of course that's the shortest train. It's gonna duplicate a bunch of minecarts. So clicking duplicate cars will be the same as the old version of the mod, where your train you selected, it will fill the length of the siding, basically. Okay, let me delete all these, and now everything else is available to be selected. I don't know if you can hear the cat in the background, but she's been meowing a lot at me. I think she's hungry, but it's not dinner time yet, so I'm not gonna feed her right now. I think she's gonna get upset. Hey, and the Disneyland Resort Line train is pretty long, so I can't duplicate it because the siding can only fit 1. So some use cases for this is that resource pack makers can make, for example, just a first class carriage, and I can have a bunch of MLR train cars, and then I want to add the first class compartment, and I can add that and then finish it off with a minecart or whatever combination you want. So there's a lot of possibilities and options for you here with this new selection. You can even combine different train stocks, as I've shown earlier. I don't know who would ever want to couple an MLR to an R train. But yeah, you get the idea. So you probably noticed that, actually, let me make the depot first. So normally in the mod, when you make a depot over the siding, the train should show up. But right now it doesn't. Right? I put MLR, a Christmas one, and an R train. So normally you would see the train right here, even though you have no path yet. The train should still show up on the siding because you have a depot over it. But that's not the case right now. So that's what I have to work on, the actual train rendering itself. I've created the menu for the siding, but I just don't have the rendering set up. So in today's Code With Me session, I'm going to be working on that. And if you can actually see it with your eyes, the final product, I feel like that would be much more exciting as well. Alright, let me exit the game so that we can get to coding. Okay, back in IntelliJ, I've been working on this vehicle selector screen. That's where all the code is for the selection. It extends the dashboard list selector screen. This is just a generic screen with the 2 sides that say available and selected with the list. And you can click add to move stuff onto the selected side. This vehicle selector screen just extends this functionality with some custom code to show the Wikipedia stuff and the extra button to duplicate vehicle cars. Okay, so the train rendering is, where's that? In the render section, render trains. So this should probably be renamed to render vehicles, but kind of like to keep the old name for now. We'll probably change it in the future. I've also moved the rail rendering to a separate class called render rails, just to make the code a bit cleaner. Yeah, last time, I think 2 weeks ago when I made the video, there wasn't any rail rendering yet. So that has been coded in. It's in this class render rails, and it's being called in the render method in the render trains part. Okay, now we have the rail rendering. We need to actually render the trains themselves. So how are we gonna do this? If everything is set correctly, my data packets, wait a second. If I go back to my client initialization, whenever the player joins the world, where are my events? Whenever the player joins, or is that in the init server? So whenever the player joins, you're supposed to send a packet to tell you that the trains and stuff, the nearby stations are there. I think I talked about this in the last video. So this init player position public static method will trigger a packet to be sent, and then when you receive the packet with the socket, that will update the data that you see here. So socket on channel. Last time we were trying to fix this to get this to work. So it seems like it calls the packet data as well. But we don't have a handler here to update the vehicles. So first of all, that needs to be fixed. Let's see. Yeah. So this part right here updates the client data. So we need one for vehicles. I think that's what it's called. We need to update the vehicles with our incoming data packet. Okay, I forgot if I made a custom class for vehicles to hold even more data for the client. Let me check that. Vehicle extension. Okay, I think I already have that set up. I've been having a weird bug in IntelliJ where sometimes it doesn't do the correct error checking for me, and if I fix an error, it doesn't change the highlighting right away. So sometimes it's kind of hard to code, and here it's stuck at analyzing. So it's not actually finding errors for me. Any compile errors or syntax errors, it's not showing me that in real time, which is kind of annoying when coding. So the only way to test if this code works is just to actually run Minecraft itself. If it doesn't build, then that means we have problems, and then the compiler, the IntelliJ will finally update and tell me what's wrong. Okay, so we have this part here to update vehicles. I don't think we technically need this part here because we'll never be updating a vehicle because the server does all that work. I don't think there's going to be a use case where we actually set some properties of a vehicle. The only time we deal with vehicles is receiving information from the server. So this part is reading the vehicles that come back from the server and writing it into this data set. Okay, so we have our vehicles. let's test if that works first. Let's not jump too far. Too many steps. Okay, as I was building this error just popped up. So I think we don't have the right constructor for our vehicle extension. It seems like it wants sidings. It wants the siding and the data. How are we gonna get the siding here? Why does it want the siding? I actually don't know how we're gonna get the siding from just the JSON packet. Does it matter? How is it being used? Where is the siding being used? Oh, get time along route. Right vehicle positions. So that stuff is not actually going to be used client side, because all the signaling and stuff it'll be controlled on the server. So all the client will know is when the train's going to stop and when the train's going to go. So I wonder if it's going to be appropriate to just create a new siding. Let's just do that for now, and then what are the arguments we need? The vehicle... Oh, we need vehicle extra data as well. Siding, reader base, and data. That's a lot of things we need to pass in. Maybe we can just do something like that. Yeah, you see what I mean with this IntelliJ bug? I just filled in the required fields and then it still thinks that I only have 2 fields here. And then vehicle extra data requires a reader base, which I don't need it right now. So if I fill this in like this, then it'll just create like the object with the default values. I just want this to compile first at least. Then I'll know what other problems I have. I put a breakpoint here because I want to be able to inspect my list of vehicles to see if the data came in properly. I'm pretty sure it's gonna return a list of vehicles for me. Okay, we're having issues here. The constructor of sidings required the data as well, which is just that. Okay, that updated. Vehicle extra data. Wow, it's private and protected. How am I supposed to create? Oh, maybe in my vehicle extension, I can just kind of cheat and remove these and create it in here. Reader base. Okay, no, that doesn't work. There has to be a way. Okay, now I opened up the transportation simulation core, and I'm just thinking how we actually create the vehicle extra data. It looks like I made myself a create method, which the vehicles are created inside the siding itself. That makes sense, but that's not going to work on the client side. So I need a way to create a vehicle without going through all this siding stuff. So either I have to make the siding be nullable, or I have to make a way to easily create the siding and the vehicle extra data. I think... Does the vehicle extra data get serialized? No, it doesn't. It doesn't get serialized into the vehicle itself. If it was, then it'll be easy to recreate it client side. But I also don't want to... Open doors, closed doors. Why does this have... Oh, it stores data about... Okay. We might actually need it. How does this... How does the packet update trains? Is it the socket stuff, right? Socket handler? Do we even have anything updating the client for the trains coded in yet? Am I just not getting it? So the simulator vehicles, where is that being used? Might be in data. Oh wait, it's part of the sidings, right? And the trains don't get serialized in the sidings. Basically, I'm trying to figure out how the trains are being sent to the client. Okay, so vehicles is a separate data set here. And I know that, okay, serialized full data will serialize the vehicles as well. And I know that I wrote some code to send the vehicles to the client. But I forgot where I put that code. Might be in vehicle. Is there something socket related? Okay, also this part also checks if the vehicle needs to send a socket update. Oh, here, client.update. So what does that do? Visible vehicle IDs update. And does this get used? .tick. Okay. And where does this get used? In the client group. Oh, okay. So this is updating, sending the vehicles. And where is this called? In the simulator client group .tick. Okay, so where is the socket? So I know this is sending. Okay, so our channel does receive socket updates for vehicles. Cool. So this is specifically sending train updates. And the other part is when we listen to when the client moves, we automatically send the rest of the data. So this is a special thing to just send the vehicles. Okay. I know this is really complicated and convoluted, but sometimes I forget what code I wrote for myself. And I know I'm not the best at writing comments in my code. So here we are. We have vehicle updates. Okay, you know what? Let's just... Okay, let's just write some placeholder code. Just so that we can see stuff come in. Okay, I'm gonna comment this part out for now. Now I'm gonna put a breakpoint here so that when I first load into the world, I can see what this payload looks like. To see when the vehicle data comes in, how that's gonna look. Okay, that sounds like a plan. Because I need to know what the shape of the message looks like before I can proceed. I also think sometimes when the player joins, they don't always get the data. Sometimes when you log into the world, all your rails are gone for some reason. And I think it's because the packet got sent to the client too quickly before the client actually ended up in the game. So I don't know how to, or I guess I won't fix that right now. Yeah, we have a server-side player join, which updates the player position. But it could also be the case where the client hasn't entered the world at the same time as well. So then the client receives the packet before the client is actually in the world. So the client instance updates and it's not ready yet. Okay, anyway. I'm gonna try it first. Okay, oh, it just hit the breakpoint. I didn't see. So the JSON object looks like that. I am going to copy that, use my formatter. JSON Lint is a very useful website. I know I've recommended it plenty of times before. Okay. So my siding, yeah, these are my vehicle cars. I set that. I don't actually think this contains the vehicles themselves. So you've got route, depots, rails. Alright, that doesn't contain any train data. And this contains train data. Does it? Fingers crossed. Nice. Alright, we've got the update and the remove. Okay, so the update packet tells us which vehicles we need to update in our cache. Oh, we also got the data section. That's going to be useful. That creates the vehicle extra data, I think. Does it? One of them is the vehicle and one of them is the extra data. I'm inclined to think that this data piece is... Yep, the data piece is the vehicle extra data. So we can just serialize that real quick. And we're good to go. Wow, okay. I didn't realize it was all given to me. This goes to show how much I remember the code that I wrote myself. And I'm like, wow, I'm glad I wrote this piece of code. Okay, so we could make the siding nullable. That is an option. And if we do that, hopefully IntelliJ reminds us. Wait, what is this warning? Well, okay, let me just put that on here instead, maybe. Okay, so this siding variable is nullable, so we have to be careful and put some null checks. We're not even gonna record the vehicle times long route anyway, but this is just making it null safe for the client. Because we're gonna feed it null for the client. Okay, that's good, that's good. Trying to not miss any references. Yeah, we need to check if siding is null. And this one as well. Yeah, just being safe. We can actually group this whole thing as well. Like that. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so now that we've ensured that siding is not null, we can go ahead and build this, and it will automatically update on this side as well. So now that we know what this payload looks like, I can stop Minecraft and uncomment this. We have to update our vehicles now based on this. So, yeah, we need some special code here also. So every time we receive the update JSON array, it means we have a bunch of vehicle and data to update. Every time we have to remove, we will need to remove that corresponding vehicle. And I think it's going to be referenced by IDs if it's being removed. Let me check where is the code that did that. What file was that in? Is it in client? Okay. So the remove array just adds the vehicle ID. So it's just going to be an array of long values. I'm going to assume that. Alright. So I'm going to code the remove first because that seems easier. So I'm not going to use this write JSON object to dataset part. So I'm going to just get the array, and for each ID, should I put this into a separate method? Doesn't matter. We can just do it inline here, I guess. So for each vehicle ID element, we need to get that as long. Actually, maybe it'll be better to add it to a set. Vehicle IDs to remove. Like that. Okay. IntelliJ is being buggy again. So we'll just have to do this manually. I mean, the formatting. I don't think I have any errors right here. Okay, good. And then vehicle IDs to remove. Maybe I'll change that to a long AVL tree set. These are just different types of sets and lists and stuff in the fastutil library. Apparently it makes it faster. And depending on your use case, you can use different data structures to make it perform better. I kind of know what I'm doing with this. Like, the AVL tree sets attempts to like sort your data into a tree so that retrieving elements will be faster. So because I'm gonna go into the vehicles and remove them, then I think it might be better if I used an AVL tree set to search for the vehicle IDs. So if vehicle extension ID is contained in this, then I want to remove it. Okay, so that's my code for the remove section. Nice and simple. And then for this update section, I'm gonna delete this stuff for now. And my vehicle extension is going to accept vehicle extra data. What if I put all the code in the constructor? No, I'm not gonna do that. Maybe I could just put all the creation code in here. Maybe that would be better. So I was thinking of making a static method up top to create and just accept the JSON object directly. Like that. And then it'll call this private constructor. The siding we said we're gonna pass in null. And it's gonna be okay because I put a nullable annotation and I made sure that we did null checks. And if I put null, for example here, IntelliJ should complain to me because this is marked as non-null, but maybe it's gonna be buggy and not update. Anyway, going back here, for each, we're going to do vehicle element. How does that look again? So it contains a vehicle and a data. So it's gonna be a JSON object first. Client data, instance, vehicles, add, new vehicle extension, vehicle element, JSON object. Okay. Oh wait, no. We need to use our create method. Yep, create. So that should work for the update and remove. Oh, wait. Just like these guys, we need to check if it exists first. Right. Vehicle update array. Like that. Yeah, because potentially our endpoint coming in won't contain this update piece. So we have to be careful to check for that first. Same for here. I can't talk and type at the same time. So either I talk or I type, but not both. And then same thing here, if vehicle remove array is not null, then do this stuff. Alright. I like to put new lines to kind of separate out my code a little bit. Make it look a bit neater. And now we shouldn't run into problems when the endpoint doesn't contain these elements. Alright, so in our create method, our JSON object, we need to get the vehicle piece, vehicle and data, and they're both JSON objects themselves. Okay, and this will be vehicle. Oh, it's gonna be the reader base itself. So let's do Okay, let's save that for later. Because we need to call our constructor. Return new vehicle extension, which contains our fields that we're going to pass in later. And might as well accept the data because I don't want, well, theoretically this is only called client side. Okay, I guess we can just directly put client data here. Okay. And then this needs to be a reader base. Like that. And then we need to do the vehicle extra data as well. So new vehicle extra data. And this is gonna be a reader base in itself as well. And this is gonna be the data section. Wait a minute. Oh, JSON reader. Right. Vehicle extra data takes in. Oh, this is protected. I think we need to make that public. Actually, now that I've done all this, I think we can just simplify these two. No need a static create method. We can just make this constructor public. So make this JSON object, and then this guy can go here. The reader base can go here, and the data can just be this. Actually, you know what? I'll make it consistent with the other objects and pass in data as a field. Alright, so new, and pass in the data like that. See, so it's a bit more uniform with the stuff up there. Passing in the instance for the last argument. Okay, and we need to make this vehicle extra data public for this constructor so that we can use the serialization on here. Once this builds, the files will be copied over to here automatically. And I think I want to test my client just one more time to make sure the vehicles have been set to the client properly. Come on, build, build. Okay. Is the error gone? Public now. Good. Run client. Looks like IntelliJ is cooperating for now. Well, okay, this isn't updated. But for the most part, thank you IntelliJ for cooperating. The only thing is that there's no error checking here right now. So if the JSON that comes from the server is messed up, this will error out and exit out of this whole part. So that might be a problem. But for now, I just want to know that if it works or not. So I'm going to put a breakpoint here, just like last time. Actually, yeah, let's just do it there. And then the first packet that comes in should just be the nearby stations and stuff. And then the second packet that comes in will be the train updates. Also, you might have noticed that I'm using this run client run configuration. This is not the preferred way to run Minecraft in IntelliJ. You're supposed to have some Fabric client run configuration set up for you. But because I converted to a multi-module build, it doesn't auto-create those run configurations for me in IntelliJ anymore. So I might have to contact the Fabric Discord just to ask if it's possible to create run configurations for modules, like a submodule. But for now, I just use the run client configuration and it works well. Okay. Oh, this is the vehicle update already. Oh no! I passed the breakpoint. Why did it crash? That's not good. What happened here? Did it try to simulate something? Vehicle extension, simulate. Oh, this code actually simulates the train. On the client tick, it simulates. But what is this array list it's complaining about? Okay, so we have more stuff to dig into now. Because it's trying to simulate the train on line 104. 104 contains nothing. Usually the line numbers are shifted a little bit. Ah, vehicle positions. Because we're not having vehicle positions on the client side, it's gonna have issues here. So maybe we should just accept null. Because on the client side, you don't want to pass in vehicle positions. So on the simulate method, this should was it line 104? Yeah, line 104 here. Vehicle position should be null. And simulate automatic. I think this is important though. If this is passed in as null, we want the rail block distance return -1. So -1 means it's not blocked. Yeah, I think so. So -1. I should add a Java doc here. -1 if rail is not blocked. Returns the distance of which the distance in front of the train good enough. I don't want to type in this info for the parameters. Okay, so vehicle positions, we should make that nullable. Oops, not there. Here. So I want to return -1. So this is like simulating client behavior. So we're making vehicle positions nullable so that in the client side we can pass that in. Yeah, vehicle positions is nullable. vehicle positions nullable. And yeah, it's gonna complain here. We gotta update this annotation. So recently I've been using more annotations like this just to help me not get bugs with passing in null when I'm not supposed to. So here, it just flagged me again. Right vehicle positions. Maybe I'll just do an if here. If vehicle positions is not null. Right vehicle positions. Cool. Alright. Alternatively, I could make this nullable as well, but I don't want to. It's probably easier to just do this. Alright, so this is nullable now. If I don't want to track vehicle positions, I'm just going to pass in null here. Alright. And after this build, where is the code that simulates here? I'm going to pass in null right here. What's that last argument? Vehicle times long route. Maybe I should make that nullable as well. And you're supposed to complain right now because that field is not supposed to be nullable. Doesn't carry over the annotations. Simulate is in the vehicle section. Yep. So this nullable came up, but I want to make that nullable as well. I did make parameters are non-null by default. Okay, so if I made this nullable as well, vehicle times long route, alright, that was easy. If all goes well, I should be able to run Minecraft without having it crash. So on the client side, we still need to simulate the train because we still want trains to move on the client side, except that we are going to get packets updating us, telling us that the train needs to be stopping or stuff like that. I realize I coded in a bug potentially, because when we receive the update packet, we're just creating new vehicles just like that, when in fact we should be removing the duplicates. Or yeah, removing when we're supposed to be updating the existing IDs, the ones with the existing IDs. Okay, so how we're gonna do this is so I think first we need to search for the existing vehicle first. So how are we gonna do that? So one thought is to delete the vehicle as we get new ones. So just clear the whole list. Well, not clear the whole list, just clear the IDs that we're receiving. And just plug in new objects as we receive them. That's one idea. The other idea is to actually update the object stored in here directly. So the benefit of updating the object is in the future when we add player mounting positions, that might be an issue if we keep creating and deleting objects. If you're riding on a train, you don't want to get booted out as the train updates because the object has been changed. But I guess for now it might be easier to just delete it and update the behavior later. I don't know. Might as well. Let's see how that goes. So the remove statement should go down here. Okay. Maybe do update directly here. Maybe that'll be better. So first, we need to find the ID first. So I'm gonna put the creation, pull the creation out. Oh wait, pull it out to here or something. Like that. Cool. So the vehicle to update is going to be a new object. If the client doesn't contain that vehicle, it's going to be a bit complicated with the streams. So we're going to need to find the vehicle. So if the IDs are the same, then we want to update it. Actually, instead of looping so many times, maybe we should store all the vehicles to update. So I'm going to do an object array list this time. Vehicles to update, add that. Alright. So now we can go through our list of existing vehicles. This can be collapsed down. I like collapsing down lambdas because it looks nice. Okay, so client data, instance, vehicles. For each, maybe? Okay, my recording suddenly stopped because my disk space was full again. So what we want to do here, if the vehicle exists already, if check vehicle ID, what if we made that into a map? Or, Okay, I'm gonna do something a little crazy first. So I'm gonna make a long to object map of object to object immutable pair. So I'm gonna store both the JSON element and the vehicle object itself. So when I create my new vehicle, I'm going to store the ID first, and then I'm going to store the vehicle element, the JSON element, and the vehicle. So I'm storing everything in a map just to make it easier to access later. So if the vehicle ID equals vehicles to update, get this, okay? This is existing vehicle data. So if this is present, if this exists in the list of stuff to update, then we want to overwrite it. So check vehicle update, new JSON reader, JSON element. Or existing vehicle data left. Okay, the JSON reader accepts JSON element. Okay, good. So if existing vehicle data is null, which means if it's a new train, then we want to add it to the list. But we can't add it while we're iterating, or else we're going to get problems. So we're going to do something like that. And object array set is good enough. If it's something that we're doing sequentially, I think array sets just do the job just fine. Vehicle extension, vehicles to add. This code is kind of complicated. Existing vehicle data right. Is that? How come it's not working? Oh, add, of course. Okay, so after we've added it, so vehicles to add for each client data instance, vehicles add. Okay, so after we add them to the list, we're gonna add them to here. Cool, lots of parts. I'm gonna go through again one more time what this logic is. So, when we get the update from the JSON array, we are going to go through each element to update, create the new object as if there's a new train coming in, create the new object and put it into this temporary map with the key of the vehicle ID, which is a long, and the value we're going to put a pair containing the JSON element and the created object itself. So this is just a map that stores the stuff that came in. So next, we're going to check the existing vehicles. And so, check vehicle is when we're looping through the existing vehicles, we want to see the ID of the existing vehicle. If our map earlier contains the ID of the vehicle, it means it already exists in the list. If it's not null, that means it exists in the list. We want to just update the existing vehicle. Wait. Okay, since is an AVL tree set and we're trying to update stuff, that will be a problem. As I ran into before, I'll talk about that later. Okay, anyway, we're going to update the existing vehicle with our JSON object, which is stored here as well. But if our existing list doesn't contain this new vehicle, we're going to add it. Actually, that's not going to work either. My code's not going to work. The reason why is because we're checking each element, and the first element, maybe it's not equal to anything in the maps. So it's going to try to add it. Okay. Well, maybe Okay. Instead, what we're gonna do is, if it exists, okay, good thing I talked my code out loud. Okay, if this is not null, so I'm gonna attempt to remove the item. Returns the old value or the default return value if no present. Okay, so if the thing exists, I want to remove it out of this map and grab it here. Okay, then update it. Otherwise, we're gonna iterate this directly. Whatever's remaining in the map means there was none matching here. So I think that should work. So vehicles for each existing vehicle data, client data, instance vehicles, add existing, right. Vehicle data, right. Okay. Cool. I think this should work now. Okay, so let me start talking from here again. So for each of the vehicles, for each of the existing vehicles, if the ID exists, we want to remove the object from the map. So if we remove it successfully, which means this is not null, then we will update the existing vehicle. Otherwise, whatever is remaining in the map means they're new objects, so we're going to add it. Okay, cool. I've explained my code, and now I'm going to run the client to see if it adds the trains in properly. Okay. That was tricky, and I think this is going to work now. Fingers crossed. We'll see. Alright, Minecraft is launching. I'm going to join the world and see where the breakpoint stops at. So it's going to stop twice. Once on the nearby stations and sidings and rails and stuff. The second time on the vehicle updates. So let's see. What is the JSON object? Okay, this is the nearby data. I'm going to run this one more time. This is the vehicle update. And look at that, our client data vehicles has our train in here now. Alright, this is really cool. All the vehicle extra data. Vehicle cars, we've got the MLR Mini, Christmas Mini, our train Mini. Alright, that's all correct. And then, I don't know what this position is. Probably the siding positions. Okay. Length, width. Alright, that looks all correct. I'm excited. And rail progress. Okay. Alright, so we've successfully updated our data to the list, the client-side list. Great. Okay, so, and the game doesn't crash, right? Please? Oh, part of the simulation, it just shows me the speed, even though I'm not riding the train. That's funny. Okay, I'll just fix that another time. But okay, that means our train has properly synced into our client world, which is a great first step with the socket update. And this is living proof that the vehicle is constantly being simulated because of this text right here. It's not supposed to be there, but it means it's working. Alright. Now, finally, we can finally get to the rendering part now. That's probably what everyone's waiting for. So let's get to that. I hope I have enough disk space to keep recording. Alright, I'm really excited. This is finally coming together. It took me a long time to get this packet stuff working. but I can feel us getting closer and closer. Render trains. Alright. So now I'm gonna render this before the tracks just because it might be easier. So the cat is meowing at me again. I know you're hungry, but it's not time yet, okay? So please be patient. I'm trying to record a video. And do you have food on the ground still? I guess you ate it all. Good job. Okay, for each vehicle, we need to render it. Ooh. Render. If only it was that easy. Okay, vehicle dot. We need to first get the position of it. Is this too complex? Should I continue this in another video? I don't know. I am just pulling up my old code on GitHub. I do this a lot. I reference the code from here because this is the mod after all. I pull code from here, and okay, here's the train rendering code. Simulate train. It's actually quite a complex bunch of code here. We have a bunch of callbacks for announcements. Where's the actual rendering code? Train client render. So maybe the train class itself has the rendering code. Is there a render thing here? Render. Render translucent? No. Okay, give me a moment. I'm gonna try to figure this out. Okay, I think it's slowly coming back to me. So this train client class has a renderer object. This is some code that Nemo helped me refactor. And then the train renderer, there's a render car directly here. So let me see if my vehicle extension contains that. I don't know if I have the renderer class directly. Legacy vehicle renderer, maybe. Is this used anywhere? No. The answer is no. So what we have to do here is we'll probably have to write the rendering from scratch, I think. Vehicle positions. Not init vehicle positions, but we have to grab each car. How do we get the position of each car? Vehicle positions. Path data. Well, this is close because each car we're writing the position. So where's the iteration actually? Where are my vehicle cars? Vehicle cars. Wait, I forgot. Where is that defined? Is it in vehicle extra data? I'm basically trying to find where my vehicle cars came from. Is it really in extra data? I don't know. This has no reference to vehicle cars at all. In here, in my selection screen, oh, it's stored in siding, that's why. Oh. Vehicle cars. Maybe I can grab it from here. Yeah, for each vehicle car, we need to get the position of it. I probably wouldn't want to use a for each, because we want a variable to go through like that. What about like this? Vehicle car, get length. Distance along vehicle. So we want to go through each segment and increment that. Because we want to get the position of the vehicle. So we need a method to get the position along the train. Okay, so it's like past dinner time, so I need to make some food. I'm gonna do a little bit of coding off camera if you don't mind, but I'm gonna walk through my code afterwards, so to catch everyone up, and then hopefully we have the final result that we're all looking forward to. Okay, I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, I'm back from dinner. I had some really spicy ramen noodles, the Korean ones that are like 2 times spicy, and I was like dying when I was eating them. I had to drink a smoothie and eat some corn, stuff like that. Anyway, I'm back from dinner and I'm going to show you the code that I changed. It's actually not that complicated. Like, after I wrote the code, looking back, it's not that complicated. So in my render trains class, in the render method, I just added a new class called render vehicles just to separate out the code, just like the Rails. So when I wrote this render method, I got the client world, I got the player offset, and I went through each vehicle and got the position. So this is a new method added in Transportation Simulation Core. In the vehicle class, I added a method called getPositions. So what this does is it scans through each of the vehicle cars, gets the index of the path, and for each piece of the path, we get the rail. And then in the rail, we get the position. This getPosition method of the rail was in the mod like a long time ago already. So This takes an argument how far along you travel along the rail. That's the position it'll give you back. So this value we're going to pass it in is the rail progress, which is how far our train has moved, minus the rail progress offset, which is this value here, which gets incremented. This is like the length of each car of the train, minus the start distance of the piece of the rail. So the first rail starts at distance 0, the second rail starts at a distance of the first rail, and then the second rail starts at the distance of all the previous rail lengths combined. So rail progress offsetted by the start distance offset by the length of the train car we've calculated so far will give us the position that we need to find on the specific rail. And then here, this offset will be incremented by the length of each car. And here I purposely, for my for loop here, I purposely increment inclusive of the size of the vehicle car, because we want positions of each car plus that extra position at the end of the last car. So it's going to be, I will be equal to the size of, well, let's say the number of times we iterate here will not just be the number of cars, it'll be one extra. So that's why I have to do this little check here, because if I do get on like past the size of this list, it's going to have an out of bounds exception. So that's why I did this little check here. And if it's out of bounds, we can just do 0. It doesn't matter because we're not going to use this incremented value after the last one anyway. So this method returns the position, which is a list of vectors. A vector is like a block position, except that it's 3 double values instead of integers or long values, which means higher precision. Okay, so going back to my renderer, so I've got this list of positions of the vehicle. So what do I do with that? I iterate through each car, and this time I'm iterating with the number of cars on the train. So let me see here. Yeah, so basically for each of the positions, so this position list, remember the size is the number of train cars plus 1, but here I'm iterating for the number of train cars. So here, my index, if I plus 1 is less than positions.size, because I'm expecting that this position list is going to be 1 greater than the total cars. This is just a safety check, this if statement. And then here is when I actually get the position indices, using the index to get the positions I want. So the beginning of a car will be position 1, the end of the car will be position 2, which is index plus 1. So you want the position of the front of the car and the position of the end of the car. So here's how I grab that. This code up here is just getting the car itself and some properties of the car. So this is the legacy vehicle renderer, which is, this basically does nothing. It just stores a bunch of data, including the model, the texture ID, the connection ID, barrier. And I might improve on this in the future, clean up the code a little bit, because I don't think I need this to be a separate class, but I don't want to spend time cleaning this up right now. I'll do that separately. But after we get the renderer, we grab the model, which is saved. The model is registered using this train client registry class, where I list out all the built-in trains, the Wikipedia article, the model, the texture ID, the color shown in the dashboard, and so on. And all these things get registered up here into a train properties object, a legacy vehicle renderer object, as well as sound. So we're not working with sound right now. We're just taking the properties out of the vehicle renderer. And if we can simplify this in the future, we can just store the fields directly either in train properties or something else. I don't know. But let me continue showing you my code. So after we get the positions, we do a little bit of math. We split out the position because this vector class belongs to the transport simulation core. And we need to convert that to actual Minecraft coordinates. So we just split it out to x, y, and z. And we also calculate the average position. That's where we're going to shift the model to. Okay, so this x, y, z will be used later for the translate. And then we calculate the yaw and pitch. The yaw is the rotation of the train car. So we do it some tangent, inverse tangent here. The pitch is how far the train is tilted up and down. And some more math here. Block position, this is just for the lighting calculation. For the mod currently, we just take the center point of each train car and calculate the light levels and apply it for the whole model. Sometimes it doesn't turn out very well, like if a train is coming out of a tunnel, each train car will grow brighter on its own, but I guess you can say that's kind of a Minecraft limitation because it's really hard or probably more resource consuming to calculate the light for each little segment of the train and try to fade the colors. I don't even know how I would do that. And I don't know if that's necessary at this point. So we just calculate one light level for each train car. Okay, so we have some transformation that we'll do to the graphics holder. Translating the train position first. And because the camera is based on the player's current perspective, we want to subtract the player position from the actual train position. So let's say the player is at x equals 1. I'm standing at x equals 1. And the train is actually at x equals 2. So, which means the train is 1 unit away from us. So, we have the train position minus our position. 2 minus 1 will be 1. And so we'll render the train 1 unit away from ourselves. This is what this calculation is. Applied it to x, y, and z. We do plus 1 for the y, just because the train model is shifted up 1 block. That's how I modeled it in the first place. I guess, looking back, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But that's what it is. The floor of the train is always at 0. And since the floor of the train is usually 1 block above the train tracks, we add 1 here. And then we rotate x and y according to the yaw and pitch. And for some reason, the model is always flipped upside down in Blockbench versus in Minecraft rendering. So we have to add pi, which is 180 degrees. Pi is radians, converted back to degrees is 180. Same thing with the yaw. For some reason, it's like rotated 90 degrees. Maybe it's something to do with my math here. If I switch the x and the z, I wonder if that would be different. Actually, maybe that would work. Okay, maybe I'll try it later. My trigonometry is a little bit rusty. I need a bit of revision. Maybe we can test it later. And then here, we finally render the model. We also check if the model is null first, because sometimes the model will be null. For example, if we're rendering a minecart, I think we'll use the vanilla model instead of the modeled train base. So that's going to be null if we're trying to render a minecart. I didn't add code here yet for if the model is null, we should render a minecart. And then, so yeah, some of these values I put as placeholder. Like, we don't have ways to grab the door value yet. Opening. And yep, filling in all the other stuff. Alright, so let's test the code, shall we? We will run it one more time, and hopefully I can end the video soon. I know I've been coding for like 2 hours already. Sometimes I've been cutting the video as well. Actually, when I was coding off screen, that's probably another hour. So thank you again for all the Patreon supporters. Can't do it without your support. Can't pay for dinner. I'm just kidding. But yeah, really, thank you everyone for your support. Those who watch the YouTube videos, those who are subscribed, those who like the videos, those who are active on Discord, for your continuous encouragement and excitement for these new features. Hopefully you enjoy the mod more after this update's been released. Also, another thing I recently saw on the Discord server, Extreme Maker has come back and created a really cool feature. So if you haven't seen that yet, go join the Discord because that's where he posted the update. So it's basically an overhaul, like a huge overhaul to the GUI of the resource pack creator. It can do a whole lot more, combine train models, and make custom train arrangements, sort of like what I'm doing here. So I don't know if what he would do would conflict with what I'm doing. Hopefully not. I think he's working more of like exporting resource packs. I have yet to ask him for more details. But anyway, what he's doing is really cool as well. So go check it out on the Discord if you haven't already. And here's our train. This is the normal MLR. This is the Christmas MLR. And this is an R train. So that's what we have set at the siding. Okay, so let's try something else. Because, of course, that's what we would want to try. Okay, so let me clear all these. Let's try an M train. Mini. And let's try something crazy, like 423. And MPL 85. Let's see. Oh, I didn't make it update automatically. Yeah, okay. This is something we have to fix in the code as well. When the train updates, because it's considered the same train, even though the train vehicle cars have updated, it's still the same train object. So that's why it didn't update. Oh, look at that. I had to update the data a little bit by clicking on the dashboard and closing it. That also should be fixed. Remember earlier I talked about the issue where sometimes when you join a world, the packet gets sent too quickly and the client hasn't even joined the game yet. Because the server makes the player join first before the client catches up. So sometimes that will happen. That also needs to be fixed. Anyway, here is our crazy combination of an M train, BR423, and the MPL. So you notice here that some trains are designed for gangway connections and some trains aren't, like this one. So what I'll do is probably do a check if both trains support a gangway connection, then create a connection like this. Both of these have space to walk through the train. So I'll check if both cars have a gangway connection, then render it. Otherwise, leave it open like this. It looks kind of weird, but you shouldn't be doing this kind of setup anyway. Alright. Yeah. This is really cool. Okay, let's try something else. Let's remove some of this. Let's do something more normal. So M-Train, SP1900, maybe a yellow head. Okay, I have to relog again. Actually, I wonder if I just refresh the dashboard. No, it wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't update. So I have to code that in. Come on. Okay. Wow. This actually makes sense because these two are both KCR trains. Actually, it doesn't make sense. But it's just funny to see. Wow, the SP is a little bit taller than the M train. I don't know how it is in real life. If they're actually the same height or not. And we're also missing the exterior door overlays. Doesn't matter. Let's see how it looks at night. Time set night. Yeah, the lighting sort of respects it. but we also need to make sure the inside is rendered at full brightness when the lights are on. But right now the lights are off because it's at the siding, it's not moving. Alright, imagine a train like this running in your world. Let's try doing like 2 of one type and to relog. This is really annoying. I will need to fix this soon. But hopefully you're excited. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and like the video. It really helps with the channel and with gaining popularity of in the mod. I always hope that this mod will attract more players to play on it, because the bigger the community, the more people can contribute and the more cool stuff people can build. And we can post that on social media as well. If you're not following our social media, please check it out in the video description. We have an Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and more to come, hopefully. Oh look, the lights are rendered properly. They're like glowing, which is good. Time set midnight. Yeah, they are definitely glowing. Okay, I'm really excited about this. I don't think rendering minecarts would work right now. I can add like a bunch of minecarts at the end. And because I didn't code in if the model is null, that's not gonna do anything. Let's see. Oh wow, mobs are spawning already. Just be careful they don't get on your train. I guess the minecarts are like back here. Yeah, they just don't show up. Okay, so before I end the video, I kind of want to just... Should I try to render the connectors? Maybe I'll save that for next time. Yeah, that's enough for today. Thank you everyone for watching. Next time I'm gonna add the gangway connection rendering. Please stay tuned for the next video, because next time I'm gonna have more stuff to leak as well. As I code, I guess. If I don't have time to code, then I'm not gonna make a video, but if you all want to, just let me know in the video comments what you would like to see, what you would like to see on the Let's Play, and hopefully I can make that happen. So thank you again for all your support, and I'll see you next time. Bye!